Today, we're making Ga Hoi An, or Vietnamese chicken and rice originating from the historic city of Hội An in the central Quảng Nam province of Vietnam. Juicy chicken that's been gently poached and shredded, served with fresh herbs and a tangy nước chấm dressing, all on top a bed of fragrant turmeric rice. This is a beautiful recipe that's perfect for special occasions and family gatherings, but it's also really simple and easy to put together, making it a dish that you can enjoy every single day. So do me a favor and make sure you like, comment, share, and save this video. Alright y'all, remember to wash your hands. The first thing we'll do is give our chicken a scrub and rinse with some kosher salt, as this will help reduce some of its chickeny odor. Now, I will say I don't typically wash my proteins unless I'm making a broth, as I find chicken and pork specifically has a slight odor, and most proteins will also give off a ton of impurities, and the hallmark of the best Vietnamese soup is a clean and clear broth. So with those, I'll typically parboil to get rid of that initially. Now, generally speaking though, the USDA and other food safety organizations do advise against washing raw meats before cooking, because as the water splashes, it can spread harmful bacteria to surrounding surfaces. So as long as you cook your proteins up to a proper and safe temperature, it's sufficient enough to kill all the harmful bacteria. So if you do choose to wash your meat though, make sure you also thoroughly clean and sanitize all your surfaces and tools that come into contact with it. But let me know in the comments, are you team wash or no wash? Alright, now back to the chicken. I'm just using a few pounds of quarters and a chicken breast today because I was too lazy to process a whole chicken. But traditionally, this is made with a whole free-range chicken. Once you've scrubbed and rinsed your chicken though, go ahead and add that to a pot with 3 quarts of water. We'll bring that up to a boil, and while that's heating, let's go ahead and prep some of our aromatics. First, I have a whole onion that I'll just cut in half, and then I have a 1.5 inch nub of ginger that I'll also cut in half. No need to peel it. Then to a dry pan, I'll char off half that onion and the ginger on medium-high heat. If you do have an open flame on your range though, that'll be an even better way to char these up. Otherwise, you can also broil on high in the oven. Then we'll drop in our charred aromatics. Bring that up to a boil, skim off any impurities. We'll lower the heat and let our chicken gently simmer and poach covered for about 15 to 30 minutes, or until the chicken reaches a safe internal temp of 165. Make sure to not overcook your chicken though, as it's important for it to be super juicy. Now while the chicken is vibing out, we'll get the rest of our prep work done. For the herbs and veggies, we'll start with the other half of the onion we cut earlier. I'm going to thinly slice the onion against the grain, and using my fingernail, I'm just going to use that as a guide for my knife to get these paper thin. Then we'll soak the onions in cold water for about 5 to 10 minutes to reduce some of its raw onion bite, but if you like your onions extra oniony, you can definitely skip this step. Next up is our rau ram, or Vietnamese coriander, which is my favorite herb. The rau ram has a very distinctive, bold, peppery, and slightly citrusy flavor profile that adds an incredible aromatic fragrance to the dish. If you can't find rau ram, you can definitely substitute it with either mint, Thai basil, or even cilantro, but it won't quite be the same. I'm gonna go ahead and give our rau ram a quick rinse to remove any sediment or debris, and then I'll remove the leaves from the woodsy stem. And if you like this recipe and you want to learn how to make more of your favorite Vietnamese and Asian dishes, make sure you subscribe and turn on your notifications to stay up to date on all my latest posts. And then finally, for the rest of the prep, I'll just thinly chop up some cilantro and green onions, which will be used as a garnish for our side of broth later. Now, after the chicken is cooked through, I'm just gonna go ahead and remove it from the pot and submerge it into an ice bath to stop the cooking process and help maintain its juicy texture. And if you like the skin, it'll also help tighten that up as well. I'll let the chicken sit in the ice bath for about 10 minutes, and then I'll get that shredded up. Now, Hannah and Gina don't like poached chicken skin as it's a little too fatty, so I will remove it before I start shredding. You can shred this by hand like me, but you can also choose to use a knife instead. Traditionally, I have seen this dish most often prepared by shredding by hand, so we'll stay true to the culture. We'll get that all shredded up and put to the side. Now for our beautiful turmeric rice, I'm going to reserve about 3 cups of the broth to cook our rice in. Then I have 3 cups of white jasmine rice, and I'll just wash that 3 to 4 times until the water mostly runs clear. Then we'll put that into a fine mesh strainer and put to the side and make our turmeric oil. The turmeric itself doesn't impart much flavor and is generally used for its color, but make sure you don't go too overboard. And also be careful not to touch it or get it on your surfaces because it does stain. To a pan on medium, I'll add a splash of oil and about half a tablespoon of turmeric powder. We'll get that well incorporated into the oil. We'll add our washed rice and we'll just get that toasted off in the turmeric oil for just a few minutes. Toasting your rice like this will help it develop a slightly nuttier flavor profile. Now to our rice cooker, we'll add our toasted rice, and for me, my preferred ratio of rice to liquid is 1:1, which will give you perfectly fluffy rice without it being too mushy. So we'll also add in 3 cups of our chicken broth. We'll give that a good mix and cook that on standard white rice mode. While the rice is cooking, we'll make our sauces. The first one is a super simple lime sauce that we'll use to toss our chicken in, and it's about half a teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of ground black pepper, and the juice of a lime. We'll get that mixed up and put to the side. The next sauce is our fish sauce dipping sauce, and it's just my standard nukmam that I use for almost everything from spring rolls to banseo. The golden ratio for this dressing is 1:1:5, equal parts sugar and fish sauce to 5 times the amount of filtered water. So for this, I'll add in a 1/3 cup of sugar, a 1/3 cup of fish sauce, and 1 2/3 cup of filtered water. The next part is completely up to you and your own preferences, and you can adjust how much garlic, Thai chilies, and lime juice you want depending on your taste. First, we'll add the juice of a lime, and then I have 5 garlic cloves that I'm gonna mince. And I want y'all to really savor this moment, because it's probably the only time you'll see me mince garlic by hand on film. Because I always do this in bulk in my food processor, but I just haven't had a chance to go to Costco yet. So here I am. Then I have 3 Thai chilies because I like that heat, and we'll just get that thinly sliced. We'll get that all into our container, get that well mixed up, and put to the side. And now, the very last thing we have to do before we plate is season our broth. I've removed the onion and ginger at this point, and I'm going to season this with 1/2 inch nub of rock sugar, about a tablespoon of MSG, and a couple tablespoons of fish sauce. And as always, I want you to season this to taste and adjust accordingly. And now, it's time to assemble our bowl. To our mixing bowl, we'll first add our thinly sliced white onions, a ton of our rau ram, some of our shredded chicken, and some fried shallots. We'll add in a couple tablespoons of our lime sauce and give that a good mix. Then to a bowl or plate, we'll add in some of our beautiful turmeric rice, and just take a look at how vibrant that yellow color is. We'll top our bowl with some of our dressed chicken, garnish that with more fried shallots. And then to another bowl, I'll ladle in some of our broth. Garnish that with some green onions, cilantro, and fresh ground black pepper. And finally, I'll get some of our nước chấm into a dipping bowl. And just like that, you've made Ga Hoi An at home. This is an incredible variation of all the different types of chicken and rice that can be found across many different cultures in Asia, and it's definitely worth trying. As always, the principal recipe is on my blog at feedthepoached.com. And I want to give a special shout out to Tracy Z for being my channel's very first paid subscriber. And for just $1 a month, you too can feed a hungry man in Seattle. But for real though, I'm trying to make this little dream of mine a reality, and all of your support goes a long way in making that dream come true. As a one-man band, I develop and write my own recipes, write all of my own blog posts, I cook, film, photograph, and edit everything you see here and on feedthepoached.com all by myself. So if you like my content, please consider supporting this channel, and as a paying member, you'll have early access to videos, direct communication for help on any of my recipes, plus you'll be able to influence what dishes and recipes get uploaded first, and finally, maybe some other perks along the way. If you've made it this far, thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoy.